In this project room, we have several projects going on around the idea of weather monitoring. And one of the projects is called Hello Weather, and it's a network of 5 weather stations that I set up in places around the world. So I have a station in New York City, Los Angeles, in Brighton in the UK, and in New Delhi, India, and in Zurich. And these stations make their data available to the public. And that's an important part of the Hello Weather project, is to just put data out to the public for people to use. One thing that I've discovered over the years in working with this kind of weather and climate information and collaborating with meteorologists is that the raw data, the data that's coming in real time, is not always available to people. And so I wanted to try to make that data more available. Another thing that the Hello Weather project is about how people relate to the weather and data. I mean, there's more than, you see the numbers that say this is the temperature, this is the humidity, and those are important, but I think what's more important is sort of people's experiences. And so this part of Hello Weather is a map of Italy, and it allows people to put their weather memories on the map. So you can use these icons that represent different types of weather, rain or cloudy or sunny, and you can talk about your experiences with weather in where you live locally. Weather is such a complex thing that it's important that information comes from all walks of life, not just the scientists, but also individuals. So if you go to the Hello Weather website, there's a link to Atmosfeed, and you can actually subscribe on your cell phone to a Twitter feed, and you can use any station. You can select any station, and you can select up to 5 stations on the Weather Underground network. There are thousands of stations on the Weather Underground network, many of them in Italy, and you can get a daily message on Twitter. And we have a database of several thousand messages. Unfortunately, they're all in English, but they're famous quotes or poems about weather. And so every day you can get a daily message that's tied to what the weather conditions are at that time. This project here is called Endpoint, and this was one of the first projects that I did using real-time weather data. So I worked with a scientist who created a model of weather at the North Pole, and I took that information, that numerical data, and I translated that into sound. These images that you see are real-time images from the North Pole that have been gathered by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration from 2003 to 2006, and I wrote a computer program to grab those images in real time and present them to the public. So it's kind of a remote viewing kind of a thing. Not everybody gets a chance to go to the North Pole, and we know for many years that this is one of the sort of canary in the coal mine, or one of the important places for climate change, because the North Pole is now melting. So I wanted to give people the opportunity to sort of be at the North Pole without being at the North Pole, taking advantage of technology. Out here in the courtyard of PAV, there are 2 projects that are addressing the car and the issues that we have encountered with the emissions of the car. And so this first project is called Cloud Car, and we're using a mist system. It's water mist, it's atomized water, but it's creating a kind of visualization of if you could see the emissions that your car is creating, which are often very terrible pollution, carbon monoxide and other things, CO2. If you could see that, maybe that would change the way you feel about driving a car. I mean, it's invisible normally, but this maybe is what it looks like. This other project, which is called Breather, came from an experience that we had in New Delhi, India. The pollution in India is so bad in New Delhi that we felt like we had a plastic bag over our head, and we were struggling to breathe. This is my collaborator, Chuck Varga. who has really built these, is the brains and the brawn behind these two projects.
One of my careers is a special effects artist. I've worked for Broadway for almost 10 years, doing special effects for Broadway. Mostly it's atmospheres. And so whether it's rain or snow or fog or smoke or
He knows
fire.
how to make it dramatic. Let's put it that way.
I blow things up. And I also have a background as a painter and a sculptor.
So we used in Breather, we use what's called a bouncy, which is like sometimes you see for little children a big castle and they jump inside. It's like a blow-up castle. So we use the same technology, and this technology blows up a giant balloon over the car, and it blows up, and then it kind of sucks in a sequence that's about 30 seconds.
It reminds us of when the first day that we were together when we were in New Delhi, and we hopped in. It's called a tuk-tuk. And it's an open. It's like a motorcycle with a little bit of a shell around it, but there's no windows, and we felt like we were in a bouncy and that we were jumping up and down, but we were coughing. We weren't having fun.
So we've shown Cloud Car in New York, in Belfast, in New Mexico, in many different places around the world. This is the first time in Italy, and second time also for showing Breather, which we've only shown in India in the past. So it's just been a wonderful opportunity, and Pav has been so open to showing these really technologically challenging pieces.